Hello and welcome to Patch Notes. It is your host, David, with the dab in two directions, still being patented and worked out. Joining me today is Vindy. Vindy, how you doing?
And you don't do the dab in one direction.
Hello, everyone.
Good call. And Wolf Clock. Wolf Clock, how you doing?
Doing well, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, thank you for reintroducing me to the joys of Chat GPT. I knew of them, but like when you were over hanging with Sean in the pre-show, I quickly made my account and then asked it a question, and then she asked how she could help me, and then I said a thing like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't really know what to ask. I feel like I need more ambition to come up with a good question." And she gave me 4 paragraphs of like thorough therapy. She's like, "Okay, it's totally okay to not know what your goals are. Just work through your values, try new things, think about what you value." And I almost told her, "I'm going to really need to work through this and I'll get back to you." And then I remembered I'm not trying to hang out with her on, the weekends.
Yeah. Funny how David's Chat GPT is a woman.
Well, yeah.
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 Is it different each time you get?
No, it's just how you interpret it. I interpret it as like a ominous, all-seeing God.
Oh, I see.
Well, so
yeah.
If
That's
I'm,
powered by man.
Yeah.
if I'm talking to something and it's all powerful relative to me, I just naturally assume it's a well-positioned woman. Yeah.
That makes sense.
How
We could dive into that psychopathy later.
We
I'm
could,
sure.
but psychopathy.
This is not about that.
It's not that's not psychopathy. That's a very specific thing. In the psychopathology, you could say.
Wow.
Sure.
Psychopathy, you're just outing me as a
We're
psychopath.
still going.
But yeah. Welcome to the esports podcast, Patch Notes. Today we have some great stuff lined up for you, by which I mean we don't have it lined up officially, but it will look like afterward that it was lined up because of how well our transitions will go.
It's lined up in here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me make a disclaimer real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. This is actually our second episode.
Episode 0 will never be released.
Yeah. This is episode 1, but it is not episode 0. We did shoot an episode that wasn't meant to be a test episode, but it turned out to be a test episode.
Indeed.
That is fine.
Once I took off my shirt, we just couldn't air it.
And some crimes were committed on the show.
Some crimes.
So
not only by me.
Yeah.
Just the majority.
So anyways, so I just wanted to state the main thing. This show is going to be a little rambly.
Yeah.
We have loosely an idea of what we're talking about each week, but it is not guaranteed. So right.
This is a road trip without a destination.
Yeah.
Like remember in the good old days on road trips where you could just look out the window and it was raining and you could like make a story out of the raindrops because you didn't have your cell phone 24/7. Like it's not just like that because we might use our cell phones to
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy.
And so also one thing we learned with episode 0 is airing what we're shooting tonight. So we have an editor for the show, but getting the editor the raw file, them editing it and getting it back to us definitely took a lot longer than we thought. And half that show was made completely useless because of that.
Big sad.
Yeah.
Debatable, but
Yeah.
well,
So
I digress.
So
yeah. Well, anyways, my point is our goal whenever we're talking about anything that's happening in the present time is we're trying to get this out within 48 hours.
Yeah.
Although if we're talking about developing stories, we're taking the risk that we're going to look like dumbasses.
Yeah.
Because it's a developing story and we might say something and then the next day something might U-turn.
You know what?
So, and that's fine.
We're going to save the developing stories for YouTube Shorts. How about that?
How about maybe that, but also
I
have a developing story that will not get stale because it will go over into other things, and also the party who is responsible for this developing story does things with video games at a remarkably slow pace, so they're not going to change their minds anytime soon. Do you want to hear it?
We're already talking about Nintendo.
No,
Incredible.
as of yesterday, China officially sanctioned Valorant as an acceptable video game to be played in esports contexts.
Wow.
Yesterday being December 27th.
I did not see that.
Yes, and you know what else is really interesting? Once 2023, I want to say it's the 23rd of January, sometime in January, NetEase, the Blizzard affiliate in China who owns one of the more storied Overwatch League teams, is not renewing their license with Blizzard, and all Blizzard games will go out of service in China.
Shut up.
Yep. So
I mean, first of all, that doesn't matter.
Is that because Microsoft is buying them?
That doesn't matter.
no, it is. So we all know one of the places where the most juicy gossip is dropped.
You guys see
LinkedIn,
Vindy's face
on a very spicy LinkedIn post. A NetEase exec dropped some vague but exciting details. Not even detail. They can't be a vague detail, can they? He suggested that somebody on the Blizzard side, of course, he's a NetEase exec, so he's gonna throw more shade at the Blizzard guys. He suggested somebody was not acting either in good faith or in the best interests of both parties. Was being something like a jerk. The dude's first name was Simon. I can't remember what his last name is.
I have a question.
Yeah, hit me.
So does Blizzard pay this Chinese company
Yes.
money to exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Every company outside China for video games needs someone inside who can do the licensing, so that someone in the party can A-OK it.
So I don't think it's because of Microsoft buying them or anything. I think it's because, if you guys remember, you can't play video games Monday through Friday or whatever like that under 18 in China.
Well, then why would it be Overwatch specific or Blizzard specific as opposed to like Valorant getting?
No, what I'm trying to say is Blizzard is not going to renew a license deal when no one's playing their game and buying their skins.
No, it's on the NetEase side.
It's on the what?
NetEase. NetEase is the Chinese company.
Yeah.
They're the ones. It is very bad news for Blizzard.
Cannot make relationships.
That's what I was trying to ask. I was wondering who.
They have not come to an agreement.
Yeah,
which means they were not able to come to a deal. But
I think
it is very bad news for Blizzard. Blizzard needs this deal because Overwatch League numbers have been propped up in large part because of Chinese viewership.
Well, they have 100 people to R1 in the esports scene. So.
And I'm going to assume that although kids can't play video games at a certain time, they can watch other people play video games.
Yes, this is true. The average Chinese viewer is not going to invest as much money as the average American viewer. American viewers tend to be like very resource dense in terms of like target.
Are you
demographics.
calling us rich?
No, I'm not calling that.
Yes, you're calling.
I'm not calling us rich. I'm saying that there are surely multiple factors that I'm not going to enumerate, which explain the state of affairs in which American esports viewers spend more money than Chinese esports viewers.
Fair enough.
Yes. Something GDP per capita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of probably the disagreement is that Blizzard, with that law passed, though, is undoubtedly not making the amount of revenue they were making 5 years ago. I mean, think about it, right?
Well, I mean,
if you're playing the game less, you're
Yeah.
not as incentivized to spend money on skins on a game that I think there are even hour maximums, even when they can play.
Well, and I doubt Call of Duty is available in China.
I think it is, but everything's green. Because, like, China, you can't have blood in China. Blood cannot be red.
Okay.
So it has to be green or purple.
Gotcha.
Which ironic because some blood
soldiers
is.
are like super soldiers, and we shoot green stuff because we're above average in terms of human biology.
I see.
Yeah, sure.
But that's kind of wild. But so they did accept Valorant,
Yes.
and all Blizzard titles are dropped.
Yes.
Okay.
That is
So
as things stand in the
Blizzard
development
can
story.
no longer sell games, or people can't even play games.
People cannot play like all live service titles.
All live
are,
services, yeah.
This is where I should have done like more explicit research.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
like Diablo Immortal, the mobile game.
Now,
Hearthstone,
I'm sure there will be
World of
plenty of people that are
Warcraft.
going to be using a VPN over there. Even though I'm pretty sure VPNs are also outlawed, but I don't know. unfortunately, I did not graduate my network admin degree.
I didn't even take one of those classes.
But I don't know. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know how easy or hard it is to have one in China. I would assume it's probably pretty easy.
I mean, with everything in China, there's risk.
Yeah.
Like severe risk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a very specific group of
Anyways,
people that would
that's kind
actually
of
take the risk.
that's kind of. I mean, that's good for Riot.
Yeah,
I mean,
very good for Riot.
That's very good for Riot. So
in-
another interesting thing while we're on the topic of China, it has been reported by some YouTubers that like report on like league news and stuff that Chinese players will no longer be able to play on the Korean server,
Oh, interesting.
which is a huge deal.
Why?
Faker,
Yes.
everyone who's watching this podcast should
Classic
know his
Faker.
name.
Yeah.
It's actually
Deliverer
been
of
the
good
only
quotes.
thing that Faker has ever been verbal about in a negative light in his entire career, that the Chinese players playing on the Korean server are not good for the server. Yep.
Because
Even
they're really
especially
good,
the
really
Chinese
bad?
pro players. No, they end games.
Oh.
They throw games for online betting sites.
Oh.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So it's a Riot thing that did it.
Yeah, Riot's pulling the trigger on that. Yeah,
Okay.
but it sounds like they're giving China their own super pro server. So right now in China, there are a ton of servers. We only have one server here in America. They have like
For
40.
League of Legends, there's only one server.
Yeah, really cool, huh?
What the heck?
Must be a dead game or something.
No, they've only ever had one. Oh, and guess what? Canada and Mexico also play on that. Yeah,
same
one
server
server.
with
So we have a one North
No.
American
We have
server.
one North
Oh,
American
oh.
server. Yeah, we have one server.
Is that just
And
so
it's in
everyone can
Chicago.
play with
It's
each
in
other?
Chicago. Yeah, I think it's also our ranked player base does not take ranked seriously.
I've seen you play League of Legends.
Yeah, I would also say that our League of Legends scene in America doesn't take ranked seriously. Apparently, only 25% of people that play League will play ranked, even like more than 5 games out of a month.
Interesting.
Yeah. Especially now that TFT
Yeah.
is around, a lot of the casual players that would maybe like they'll play ranked until they hit silver and then they just stop. And now they are playing TFT and ARAM and normals, and that's it.
Interesting.
Do you think that's because as Americans you have more opportunity from other countries, whereas like that's like
To play more games?
no, I mean like esports is more of like this is my only way out. in other
I think there is some of that. I think it's more cultural, like Korean and Chinese like culture is like you need to be better than your neighbor, especially Koreans.
countries. Yeah.
Like you need to be better than your neighbor.
Performance is like status.
They're super competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just not.
Well, so I can.
I mean, we have competitive people,
Yeah, we
obviously,
have
but I'm saying
competitive-
it's not a cultural thing to be better than your neighbor. Our thing is leave your neighbor alone, let them do whatever they want.
True.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm- Correct
yeah.
me if I'm wrong, but some of it is also, at least in Korea, that like Korea doesn't have something like the Korean National Football League, where a whole bunch of hyper competitive people go and play on very large plots of land in Seoul because
True,
don't
they have
some-
StarCraft.
They have, well, so
I mean, that's actually probably the worst example I think you
well,
could
no,
use.
no, they did. Well, no, this is the point. Like, StarCraft is a video game. Like, they, as a country, developed in like the 80s. They were one of the 4 Eastern Tigers or whatever, alongside
Yep.
Singapore and some of these other nations.
Hong Kong
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Philippines, I believe.
Some group.
Something like that.
Whichever group. Singapore and Korea.
I know what you.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
that term, the 4 Eastern Tigers
like
or
the
whatever.
big
yeah.
success stories of
Yep.
like globalization.
Yeah, the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, like it was just so huge that like tech was a huge reason they became economically successful, and they are also very dense places to live. You don't just have enough space to make.
No, they
a
don't
whole
have a
bunch
lot of
high
space.
School football fields, and so it like. From what I understand, which isn't much, there isn't nearly as much stigma against gaming as like a way to go pro in something that is like a game.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's much more culturally accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, like I had second generation Koreans living across from me. They owned a small gas station back when I lived in Washington State, and I was asking them about Faker, you know, and these people are in their 60s.
Damn.
And they're like, yeah, everyone knows who Faker is.
Really cool. Really
Like everybody knows who Faker is. Like it's not like it's just not. You don't even have to be into gaming.
Yeah.
You know who Faker is because like he's
a Korean star.
Well, he's just such. It'd be like who's Brad Pitt. Like you don't even have to know Brad Pitt's face, but you've heard his name.
Maybe more like Brett Favre.
No, like no, because
Really?
Brett Favre is football.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is an actor for Hollywood. Like
Right.
people know Brad Pitt's name even if they're not into movies. Like, and maybe you put him up against like 10 other huge, 10 other huge male actors, but you're like, you know his name.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Faker's name in Korea. It's just like he transcends esports.
He's like BTS.
See, that's the thing. People won't necessarily know who BTS is.
In America.
In America.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I guess I would say, he's probably, he's like on the level of which
But he already did
K-pop
military.
is a whole other culture.
Did he already do military service? Faker?
No. It looks like I'm thinking he's never going to have to do it.
Really?
Yeah,
So
I
he
would
is
say
better
that
than
he's
BTS.
Probably.
Oh, did they have to do their military
Yeah,
service?
they're breaking up / having to.
Well, here's the thing with Korean. The Asian Games are like mini Olympics for the East. From the Olympics, the Asian Games are like right here, like an actual importance. If you place in the Asian Games, you are actually exempted from military service. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, from my understanding, Faker, like they're gonna create like a full Korean team, and Faker will be on that team.
Oh, okay.
And if they win in that, that's like one of the ways I've read that like Faker will get out of Korean service.
Oh, that's an easy way too. Who the hell's gonna beat Korea in the Olympics for League of Legends? So.
Yeah, only Koreans. Yeah, I mean, So, anyways, it's every single Chinese team that's won Worlds have at least had one Korean on their team. They've never done it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually for us, it's not considered bad, but over in the East, there's a phrase called 5 Chinese can't win.
Oh.
You can get banned for saying that over there. Yeah. But that's like a slang they use over there because most Chinese teams have 1 or 2 Korean players as like their star players.
Yeah.
Because there was this thing called the Korean Exodus that happened, and because salaries over in China went whoop like that, like crazy.
Really?
I would say 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. So
for esports, you're saying?
For League of Legends in particular.
I see.
So I think Korea in 2 years lost 40 professional players to China.
Wow.
Yep. Oh yeah.
How many Chinese teams are there?
A lot. I don't even know the number. They have 4 professional leagues. Every other region only has 1. Yeah.
Are they tiered like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, getting back to the super server thing,
Yeah.
because this is really interesting now that China's like accepting Valorant to me, because in China, so like on the North American server, if you hit rank 1, there's nothing else for you to do. You're rank 1 in North America, right? Yeah. In China, you hit rank 1 on the closest server to you, you get in a queue pop to a new, higher, more premium server filled with a bunch of top 200 players, and now it's a super server.
That's cool.
And they keep forcing them up the chain until you get to the Chinese super server, where basically like you have to be challenger to even be in it. Like So we have this thing in America. Riot was the first one to develop it. I think other games will follow suit. I think Valorant follow suit, but I think other titles outside of Riot will follow suit. We have this thing called Challengers Queue. It is only professional players and academy players can play in it, and there are prize pools for how you end on the ladder.
Oh wow.
$400,000.
Kind of like what you're doing with Smash.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Yep. What I do with Smash, and I've made my own version of that for League of Legends as well, and that will be coming out to Valorant after the first season.
Combined, they're almost $400,000 in prize pool. Yeah.
For ours?
Yeah,
you're
almost.
very
Yeah,
funny. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Once sponsors start seeing my
So-
slide deck, though.
So yeah, so it seems like China's going to get one. Okay. And I guarantee you it's going to be a lot more than $400,000 in that.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool.
Well,
That was a very
Good for
long-winded
Riot.
thing to wrap that up, but
Other things that I have on the docket, we talked about Microsoft wanting to buy Activision Blizzard. FTC suing them to stop it.
Yeah.
That's exciting. It is in administrative court, which means it can't actually stop the merger. But
well, Europe is also suing them, aren't they?
I am pretty
Europe
sure
sues everybody.
Sure.
Yeah, they have stricter laws about things.
But I mean, if Europe bans games from their,
They're not.
yeah, okay.
All right,
my thought,
Mr. David, what is your take on the Microsoft Activision Blizzard?
Overwatch 2 needs Microsoft money.
Okay.
That is my take.
What's your take?
I don't see it as a monopoly.
Okay.
And
Can you defend it?
Yep.
Right.
Because a monopoly means that you have complete control over
In industry?
an industry. And
Sure.
Microsoft owning Activision and Blizzard does not give them control over the whole gaming industry.
Well, correct. Sony is still a massive player.
And Nintendo as well.
Oh, yes, Nintendo. Yeah, I know. Us three probably often, I don't know. Well, you're more in their ecosystem than you or I are.
Yeah.
I never even think of Nintendo. Oh, I love my speech impediment.
I thought it was a quirk.
I never even think of Nintendo when I think like video games.
Sure.
I think of Zelda, or I think of individual Nintendo titles like Mario and stuff, but I never think of Nintendo as a brand, you know?
You know what's interesting is that we don't have Microsoft or Sony signs in the front windows of Edge Gamers Lounge, but we do have a Nintendo sign.
I wonder if you can guess which person in the building would have made that come to. That's a rhetorical question.
Rhyme with Boney?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a demon living
Yes.
under the stairs named Roni.
Well,
Tony is very into Nintendo.
Got it.
So
to Nintendo's point, Nintendo likes to position themselves, I would say, more like a toy company than a video game company, and that's probably a big reason on why that.
That's
you
true.
think that?
I'm assuming you know that they put the Nintendo in the toy aisle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
That was a very genius.
Well, and
marketing
they actually
strategy.
started out making toys
Yep.
before video games, right?
Yep.
But
So you think Microsoft should be allowed to,
I think they should.
and do you also think it would be a good thing?
I don't think it's a good thing.
Okay, but you think they should be allowed
to do it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I really like takes like that where someone's like, I don't like it, but it shouldn't.
It's
have
not
to be.
illegal.
Right, it's not illegal.
Are you
yeah.
saying you don't like my complex take of whatever helps Overwatch is justified because the ends justified the means if they're Overwatch ends?
That sounds pretty?
Machiavellian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well-
Great thinker. Prince is a remarkable book.
All right.
Well, and it's funny too because brands like Bungie, they started completely under Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were able to branch out. And now Microsoft is finding them in positions where they're like, oh, we don't really have anything that locks people into our ecosystem or.
Wait, so now it sounds like they're wanting a monopoly. We need something to lock them into our ecosystem.
No, well, so Microsoft has told the FCC that they commit to FTC that they are committing to making Call of Duty like the major title that everyone's worried about. They've committed to making it available on Sony and even Nintendo platforms.
Right.
Sure.
And they do the same thing with Minecraft. Why would they take Call of Duty off of platforms?
Right.
When that's the reason why it's so popular.
Yeah.
Well, and the super funny thing is like, what are all these games developed on? Windows.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Well, and then
I mean,
not to
every single one
mention,
of them is.
What is Microsoft really trying to do is they're trying to build Xbox Game Pass as the gaming live service,
yeah.
and every
I mean, it
publisher-
basically is the gaming
it
live
is.
service.
Oh yeah, it
I'm
is.
kind of shocked I don't
And-
subscribe to it. Like it is.
I just got it for the first time like
it's-
4 months ago, and
Since it started, I've had it.
yeah.
But I've been.
It
an
makes
Xbox
sense,
gamer
too.
my whole
Yeah.
life, so.
Yeah, it gets into
But
the Call of Duty lobbies with the little
every single
controllers.
publisher that they're able to acquire means that publisher's titles now are going on the Game Pass. That is a win for everybody.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
it comes to the amount of entertainment that you get per dollar.
So this is, I guess, yeah, I agree with you. I think Microsoft. It's hard because games are not a necessity, so it's kind of really hard to have such a.
Wait, what? Since when?
They're just not. They're just not. Although, like,
Did you know this?
it is important. It is important though to keep in mind that like the gaming industry is larger than Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, do I want this one production company owning the rights to everything? Like,
if it's Studio
like-
Ghibli,
Well,
yeah, then they
yeah,
can. They
it's
can
like, what if
Why wasn't-
A24 owns the rights to everything, or
Well-
Columbia owns the rights to everything? It's like,
Disney bought Fox and Marvel.
I know, and that's already started to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Like you let that through, then why are you stopping Microsoft from grabbing it?
I just, yeah, I think
makes
my thing with the
absolutely no sense.
Microsoft.
it's a very ballsy FTC. I think that's the
But what is their goal for it? Because they know they're not going to win. So what is the underlining goal
So,
for
to
doing
be bought
in
out
the-
later for
in
more
the-
money.
So you think it's like inside trading?
No, I don't know. I guess I don't know, but.
Yeah.
My-
I don't.
So
see the
here's
goal
my
of
take.
doing it.
Here's my take with the Microsoft thing. I like Phil Spencer
Yeah.
a lot.
cool dude.
So don't know him, but you
His
know.
decision.
So unless his PR team is just absolutely incredible.
Sure.
He's their top lawyer too.
What?
In fact, yeah, he's a lawyer.
Actually, I think I actually heard that before that he is a lawyer.
So when he talks to the FCC, he's not just doing what the lawyers tell him; he's doing what he tells himself.
Wow. That makes him all
I
the
think
more impressive,
I think
actually.
I've watched a lot of those the documentaries, and like some of the decisions that he's made, I'm like, okay, this was a really kind of bold decision at the time, but the guy just kind of like sees what he needs to do and does it, and I really like that type of confidence just to be like, we're going with this, boom, and it works out, and it's constantly worked out over and over and over again.
Well, I mean, Game Pass is the biggest.
I know that's a huge thing for him because that was his
Right.
main.
That's
let's do
kind
this
of nuts.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of Xbox without Game Pass.
Now you can.
Yeah, now
right,
I can't.
right.
I'm sure there was a time, but like
It used to be Game Pass. You would think Xbox Live. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah,
And now
yeah.
you don't even. I bet you in 2 years you won't even hear or even see the branding. I can barely find it now.
My kids don't even
know what that is.
Xbox Live is.
Yeah. Now it's just that's the thing is Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. You know that's the thing too. I think they need to cut out Game Pass. It just needs to be Ultimate. There's no reason to get the lower tier.
Well, if you don't have an Xbox, the lower tier makes sense, actually.
I guess. Yeah, because if it's just like just PC.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. But
And that's the only reason why they call it the Ultimate.
which, by the way, you can now link your Smurf on League of Legends.
Smurfing.
or actually
we don't
any-
do that here.
Oh, whatever. Any Riot account that you Smurf on, you can link your Game Pass
Dude,
to and
I didn't
unlock
link it
every
to
single
my Smurf.
character.
That's on my OG account.
Well, yeah, that's because you're new into Riot's
Yeah,
ecosystem.
and I don't have a Smurf account. How
I've been
about that?
playing the game since 2011.
Actually,
There are a decent amount of champions that you get for it because it even
Yeah, it unlocks
tells you-
everything.
It gives you a little icon so Microsoft isn't going to be the last pass that works with Riot this way either,
Why do you say that?
because they in their UI specifically say they don't mention that it's an Xbox that is linked to you. It says that you have a special pass.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure Epic's gonna want to get their hands on something like
Well,
that
I'm
too.
wondering if even Sony potentially eventually, because they have the PlayStation Plus, and
Yeah.
a bunch of different tiers.
I just saw in my home news page feed PS5 Pro like leaks already, which just seems way too soon. I haven't even seen
It's
a PS5
not.
in person yet.
It's not.
I guess it is like a 2-year launch now, but
Well, and then think about
what games are even out there? Like Are there even games right now? I feel like there are just no games to play on consoles.
What?
Elden Ring.
Any current gen games?
Elden Ring?
What, we have Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank,
Spider-Man, the new God of War is
God of War.
exclusive,
Okay, sweet. We've named off 3.
and the new Final Fantasy is going to be exclusive.
Is it out yet though? That's not out yet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, boom.
No.
Can any of these games do 4K 120? Nope. I actually don't know if there's this. I think there's only one title right
Technically,
now.
Call of Duty can.
4K 120?
Yeah, it tells me that it's doing it on my TV.
I don't
Can we
think
talk
it's-
about
I have an
Adam Grad a bit?
LG C1 that allows me to do 120.
Yeah.
very well.
It has
Yep.
2.1, but I don't think COD can run at 4K 120.
It tells me that it's in 4K at 120 frames when I look at the TV.
The
whatever.
TV will tell you that's what it's displaying. The
Yeah.
game,
Yeah, I don't know. if
I
it
don't
is.
think the game is running in that. Yeah,
But
I think the
TV
only
thinks that
game,
it is.
the only game that is actually running that right now is Ori and the blind whatever it's called.
Oh, the Blind Forest.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm pretty sure that is the only game, and that's not native. It's upscaled to that.
I
But
bet you Fortnite will get to it.
Fortnite is a beast to run. Actually, I don't think so. Not graphically. It's
They constantly
process.
update it. They just updated the engine.
I heard the
Direct
Unreal.
X. Yeah.
This Unreal. I haven't seen the game yet, but
Yeah.
people are like, I cannot believe how different and good the game looks. Have you heard about this?
I've played it recently, and
Did you see?
when you talk about how dope your TV and your Xbox look, I'm not gonna lie, I like nod and smile and assume that you're right because I can't tell.
Oh,
I'm a Philistine.
you were also pretty tired that night.
Even if I were 100%, I mean, yes, you're right. Maybe
Fair
at my
enough.
peak, I would be able to know if you had them side by side.
Well, side by side makes things pretty obvious.
Yeah. So I'm an obvious.
have to
Like
be-
if I had
you
my
do have
TV
to
near
be
his TV, my
an
TV would look
enthusiast.
considerably brighter. Like fire would look brighter, but his fire would still look better because you have an OLED,
Yep.
and I don't.
Big sets.
I'm gonna do the world's smallest violin.
Play the violin for Vindy, everybody.
Yes. We're getting OLED in 6 months.
There it is.
27-inch,
Elite.
240 hertz.
I'm getting it. I'm gonna pre-order it
$1,200?
when it's available. No, it's 1,000. Wait, which one are you talking about?
The new LG model.
Yeah, that's gonna be 1,000.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, I see.
It'll not sell for that for a long time. Everyone's gonna jack
Everyone
it up a couple
says
$100
it's $1,000.
MSRP.
So you pre-order it from LG?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I know. Even though I have been like extremely lucky with
Just ordering
for
things like.
pre-ordering stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I got PS5 launch. I got a 30.
Wait, you pre-order?
Yeah.
We're kicking you off the show.
I got
Wait,
30.
you don't pre-order video games. Yeah,
Not
you
vi-
I
not video
think
games.
I'm in the host
Well,
chair and I
okay.
can veto that.
I
think-
have.
think-
I have, and I've gotten burned too many times.
I see.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered Duke Nukem.
I got a 3080 on launch,
Back in the day.
but that was because of Nate. That wasn't because of me.
Remember, you were one of the first people to even have a Fire Strike score
Yes.
with your 3080. That's
Yep.
how quickly you got yours.
and
Fire
then
Strike like
I also
Reinhardt's.
had a Series X.
It's a benchmark.
Okay.
A Series X Halo edition on launch. I got that as well. So
Very cool.
for whatever reason, I have a crazy track record when it comes to getting like the new gear, right?
Very
so
nice.
LG is gonna send me that TV or that monitor.
LG, feel free to sponsor Patch Notes.
True.
That would be incredible.
Your icon.
We all
here.
get the new OLED monitors. How about that?
If LG wants to hit me up with an OLED monitor,
What's next on the topic list?
so
No
I'm gonna
segues.
close
We gotta get better at our
this
segues.
and just think about that Adam Grad raid that we played last night. Should
Okay, we
talk
going
about that a
into
little
Call
bit?
of Duty?
I would. I mean, because like I've got more Overwatch stuff, but do you really want to hear me talk about the Overwatch League?
I don't know. I mean, the raid for Call of Duty is like, I don't know. It's not competitive, so I just don't see it.
What is it?
It was this mode.
We're
that
gonna
you
talk
have
about it.
Okay, yeah, we can be brief with it. It's a mode that you have to have a special pass or an assignment. Is that
You
what it
have to
was?
get an assignment. You have to earn an assignment. I
Yes.
guess you do have to earn an assignment to enjoy it, which is crazy because it's like an actual like, it's a cinematic experience.
Is this the new Escape from Tarkov thing?
No, that's DMZ.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's different than
I
that.
don't
So it's a
know.
continuation of the campaign in Call of Duty, which, by the way, single player campaign for Call of Duty this year, one of the best first person shooter campaigns I have ever.
I only played like the first 15 minutes of that, but I was blown
Dude, it
away
is insane
by how good it looks and felt.
And the story,
But-
like
was it good?
It's simple enough where you don't get lost in it, which
Okay.
I appreciated a lot. But,
Okay, sure.
But it has enough moving parts where you feel like there's something that you have to figure out, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. It's really good. And so what this is it's a 3-player mode that continues the campaign. I can't believe you got me talking about this, but
You seem to be enjoying it.
no, I love it. I love
good,
it a lot. That actually continues the story of the campaign. And so you play as the 3 characters. One is Price, and then I can't remember the other two.
Farah?
Farah, yeah, she's the Chica. And it's purely objective based. They have some puzzles in it and stuff that you have to work as a team. It actually reminded me of Destiny in a lot of ways, which I absolutely love. Anybody that knows me knows that I love Destiny so much, and I cry every day that I think of my clan dissolving. And anyway, thank you, sir. But so it reminded me of that a lot, and it was super fun. And maybe it was Activision taking some cues from when they were in a relationship with Bungie on that. But the only way you can play it is if you earn a raid assignment. One of the people in your party have to have earned this assignment that you actually cash in to play it.
And what?
You
How
can
do
do
you earn that?
DMZ by extracting.
So it's
the
a
last-
mission. It's a mission of like the week or something like that.
So this
With
is
an E,
their
not an
first
A.
episode. I don't know how long you're going to be able to access it because it's the live service.
Okay.
And the only way you can play it is by earning these assignments.
Okay.
And so you either top 20 in the BR modes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, how do you earn?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you earn it?
You final extract in the DMZ mode with a certain amount of money. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
30K
Yep.
you have
Yep.
to have.
Which is
Okay.
a lot.
Or you have to do like all the weekly challenges in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it is clearly Adam Grad episode 1. So, like, I don't know what period of time it's going to be there for, but, like, they plan to have multiple installments.
And I don't know if
So
you're gonna
that's
be able
giving people a reason to play, which is kind of interesting. Like,
Yeah.
it's like an extra incentive. Top 20 in BR? That seems a little generous, actually. I was going to say. Like,
Well, they want people to play it.
yeah.
But they
well,
want
yeah.
to feel you like you
earned it. Yeah. Huh. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it was lit. I almost quit because I was really, really
I know.
sick of that last level.
The
So,
last part is hard.
yeah, I guess... are
Because
people
not
really
only
yeah.
it makes you use your communication skills.
Yes.
It makes you use your problem solving skills. And you have to shoot baddies.
Yes.
And some of the most annoying baddies, which are the bomb drones.
They suck. And I went, so the save point we were at, like, locked in the guns that we had, and I had a sniper rifle, and the sniper rifle against the bomb drones was the worst thing. I don't know if, like, it certainly it couldn't have been a fluke, but like when I shot those bomb drones with an SMG or a shotgun, they would blow each other up. When I shot them with a sniper rifle, they would go by individually. And so the gun I had was the worst for the bomb drones, and those were what came out first. But like with the cooperative stuff, there were codes that were in separate rooms, or like there were
Don't spoil it for people that haven't played it.
there were things you had to communicate, and you also couldn't do the same role each time. There was
Yeah.
like a new fingerprint required thing, so you had to switch so that each person had this one central communicating role.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
It
actually.
was.
But it was completely
yeah.
cooperative.
Yeah.
So it actually has me in a little hopeful for Overwatch's PvE.
Yes.
Oh, because if you had so much fun doing that.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
because like if they do like objective based stuff like they did in this in Overwatch PvE is going to be a blast.
It is. I mean, it's something that, I mean, to be honest, I forget about / kind of just forgot about when Overwatch 2 came out. It silenced so many people who were just screaming for any content at all that everyone's like, okay, yeah, this is Overwatch 2. And there were some of us, like I was a true believer, and I'm like, it's just, there is going to be a full game. Like it is going to deserve the 2 and not just a 1.5. Because
Right.
eventually there's going to be the PvE element. But yeah, they just had to give people something because otherwise it was going to just straight up die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have an old friend who recently hit me up after I had told him that I really liked one tank, and then we hadn't talked for a couple of months, and then he told me that he really hated the one tank decision, and it was the worst decision Overwatch has made, and I straight up am not talking to him. I mean, maybe, and like he's the kind of, we butted heads a lot. I knew him in like the philosophy school days, so those were conversations that involved like viciously tearing down the things that we believe most dearly, and so there was a lot of like acknowledging that we would say things and then maybe change our minds later, but like he just needs a couple of weeks to change his mind, because I am not talking to him at this point of view. One tank is important, it is good, it is healthy. Okay.
I think Overwatch 2 is better than Overwatch 1.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Overwatch 1.3 is much better than Overwatch 1. I mean, how can it not be though, right?
I guess.
I mean,
it
is an improvement.
But I mean, it's the
It is an
dynamic
improvement.
of the 5v5 versus the 6v6 that I like.
I did like when we played that one night and I was able to play Bastion. Like, first of all, that felt good. Like, I liked his mini rework. Like, to me, that's a mini rework. I'm sure to the game, it's a huge rework.
Yeah.
But like, I really enjoyed not having 2 extra bodies flying around, because as someone who plays the game uber casually, maybe once a quarter of the year, you know, it's like, holy crap, I already had to figure out this map.
Yeah.
And now when I come back to the game, like, that's fun for me to be playing a game that I actually like. Like, I like Overwatch.
Yeah.
I'm busy playing other games, you know?
Yep.
So it's like, I don't have that new player perspective with League of Legends or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get that. So I think about, like, when I'm playing Overwatch now, I'm like, okay, like, that's pretty interesting. Like, the design choices that were made there. Whereas with League, I see the evolution of it all. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you'll understand at some point why it does that. It's like, yeah. It's like, why is everyone calling this item this? Oh, that's what it used to be called, and we just all still call it that. Okay.
Overwatch 1.x is much more accessible. There's less going on in your, like, even for like the health of the esport. Which, you know, we've already touched on the China thing, and viewership was huge. So, like, it needs every single functioning organ it can get.
Building a 5-man team also way easier than a 6-man
much
team.
easier. It is.
When it's the
a little
standard
bit more
esports size
affordable.
is
Yeah.
5.
That's
Right.
But like for people who, it's already a fast-paced game compared to a lot of games out there.
Yeah.
Like the cooldown in Valorant, the standard cooldown is 40 seconds. The standard cooldown in Overwatch is like between 6 and 12, right? If you have a 15-second cooldown, it's like nuts. I think there's only Batiste who's got like a 30-second cooldown on an immortality field or something. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that happens really fast. And in the esport, when 12 people were on the field, for a person who, like, in the golden days where there was a contract on ABC to stream the grand finals, I can imagine so many randos being on the couch with a kid who's like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, what?"
Yeah,
like,
watch this. We hit a big.
Yeah. And like, to keep track of 12 different people, even if it was a mere meta at that time, you know, like, we can talk about goats if you ever want to.
Nope.
No. No one wants to talk
No
about
one
goats
wants to talk
ever.
about goats.
The evolution from normal goats to somber goats to some of the other stuff is like actually really interesting, and I could go into that. And I thought somber goats was really cool. And then to counter somber goats, you had the Shanghai Dragons was really innovative in this one regard. But Shanghai Dragons, owned by NetEase, the team who is.
Oh, look at what you got Aaron doing here.
Yeah, damn.
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
well, here, let me hit up some Overwatch League things really fast. Boston Uprising, a team that always played Moneyball and nobody really cared about, now shelled up a whole bunch of money for players who have left other teams. The real ones will know that Lee Jaegong Striker, Smurf Decay, and Birdring and Izayaki are big names who are all now on the Boston Uprising.
Are these top 5 players in their position? Every single one of them?
Wait,
Birdring's like a throwback, but the other ones, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, Birdring
So,
had retired.
pretty strong.
Yeah, Lee Jaegong and Izayaki had both been on Shanghai Dragons, but then when Shanghai Dragons, because it's a Chinese organization, now has like an uncertain future. Like, the whole league extended the free agent.
I think I actually heard something about that, like, just in passing.
Anybody who cares a lick about the Overwatch League was terrified when they heard this news because
Yeah.
viewership is huge. Since the COVID days,
Right, because
they had
without
this-
the viewership, sponsors dwindle
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And they-
paychecks dwindle.
and they still had even during like the pandemic, they still had some sponsors, but like Cheez-It Grooves, let's go. I don't eat Cheez-Its, but I'll consider buying them for my children or whatever
my
because they
kids,
sponsored Overwatch.
my kids like Cheez-Its.
Yeah, I like your kids.
Yeah.
And the parents who bought Cheez-It Grooves for them.
Sure, of course.
They're great people. But like then when all the Activision Blizzard allegations came out, people just started leaving left and right.
Oh,
And, like,
yeah, for sure.
Now the only thing I remember seeing was like these weird Butterfinger graphics superimposed on different parts of the map because they needed to get Butterfinger everywhere because in order to have the one sponsor, they just needed to show them so much. So the Vindy doesn't yawn more. San Francisco Shock no longer has Violet. Houston Outlaws.
Wait,
they
are
got
you just
Fearless.
like spouting off Overwatch news?
Yeah.
Because aren't we
Yeah.
supposed to be having a discussion
Yeah,
here?
but like I'm never going to get this in otherwise. Do you care about Seffi from Atlanta Reign or Gator or them going full
well,
Korean?
tell me why all that is
Neither
important.
does the 7 people that are going to watch this first.
Don't
At
tell
least
me
one of
about-
them is gonna
don't
really
tell me
appreciate
about
Okay,
what's
don't tell me
going
all the
on.
names. Who's the biggest name moving?
And why is it
Biggest name
important?
movie?
Yeah.
Okay, the biggest name moving. Well, so I'm gonna put two of them in. The first biggest name moving is kind of a meme because Stryker, who's now on the Boston Uprising, has now gone back and forth between the Boston Uprising and San Francisco Shock a total of 5 times. He was on the Boston Uprising first year. Then it was rumored that he was a very big behavior problem, even though he was arguably the best tracer in the league, and so he went to the San Francisco Shock the next year.
How old is he?
He's like 20 something. He then leaves the San Francisco Shock to go back to the Boston Uprising, despite the Boston Uprising still having people who remembered when he was a behavior issue. He then leaves the Boston Uprising at some point because, oh my God, it didn't work out. Like, it, of course, wasn't going to go back to the San Francisco Shock because they wanted to give him another try. And now at the start of this new year, now that Boston is spending money again and San Francisco Shock is a bunch of new people, Stryker returns to the Boston Uprising. And there are a lot of wonderful memes about, like, the water cycle where, like,
Yeah. Time is a flat
Stryker
circle.
in San Francisco, Stryker in Boston Uprising.
When you
Stryker-
say they're spending money, what do you have any information on what the average Overwatch player makes?
well, like minimum salary was $50,000, and they had been getting
Really?
yeah. I mean, maybe they reduced it in more.
They reduced it?
I know. Maybe since it was that.
So
it
you
has
think
been
that's too
reduced
low? Then
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's too low, and it's also relatively too low to like league, which
Oh,
minimum
for
salary
sure.
is
Which is like-
$400K.
Yeah, where people watch that
But-
game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is like
we'll
how
see
much
about
is
that moving in
Overwatch
2023.
League? Like Overwatch League is
Riot's
not
trying to kill
making money.
It is not, and it is like Twitch execs are mad about the deal that they made with Twitch back in the day, where Twitch spent like some millions to have
Yeah, there was
Overwatch
a
rights.
really weird time in esports when Overwatch League was created.
When
That is
yes,
for sure.
there were people in
Well-
Overwatch who were brilliant marketers, and there was not a whole lot of market reach for competing over
Yeah.
esports league things, and so the promise
You
of this
basically
new
just had
concept-
Riot,
Yeah.
but you're like trying to put the Blizzard polish. That's just they just staked it on reputation, I'm sure.
They staked it on reputation and the localized team.
Yeah,
Concept.
I really liked
Which
that.
I did like that as well.
I like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
And
you know what?
because
didn't
like
you-
I want that for like our brand.
Yes.
I would love to
Yeah.
have multiple stores where the
Yeah.
stores are
Yes.
competing against each other.
You know the worst possible thing for like a localized franchise model? A global pandemic.
Oh yeah,
Where
100%.
like they were
100%.
just getting like home stands off the ground,
Yeah.
and then the pandemic hits, and it's like, all right, the thing that like in the 3rd season of the Overwatch League, the thing that was going to make money was concession and merch sales at in-person venues where fans would be able to get to meet the people.
That's
in
why I
person.
kind of like esports piggybacking off of traditional sports, like Minnesota does with Rocker, right? Because the Rocker, where's their facility? It's on the Vikings, like, you know, campus,
Sure.
right? And when they do their home stuff, it's like it can be at the Minnesota Vikings, stadium and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think another issue too is $25 million to purchase a slot
Yes.
in Overwatch.
Well, that was the second year.
Because you're not going to
First
make
year was
that
only
back.
$10 million. It's only 10 million
Well, see,
how do you make that back?
I think 10 mil
with homestands and merch sales that they did.
Yeah, I think 10
Even
mil.
then.
I think 10 mil is much more appropriate.
Yeah.
25 mil, because Riot. I think Riot's buy-in was only 20 mil when they went to franchising after doing like 6 years.
Well, right, yeah,
Of
just
non-fran-
franchised, right. Whereas Blizzard like
non-franchising.
jumped right
Yeah,
into.
and then they're like, yeah. Oh, and then you Call of Duty. Yeah. We'll just start our thing up too. Yeah, it'll also be 25 mil.
Yeah.
Nate shot. We are not continuing with our Call of Duty plans.
Right.
They built my brand, but it's just not worth it.
So we'll skip the other.
And it wasn't.
We'll skip the other internal Overwatch stuff. The other players, there's some Atlanta Reign stuff. I lived in Atlanta for a while, so I liked it. But like the difference between the Overwatch League structure and the Valorant League that's upcoming structure, So are you aware of this? So yeah, we've talked about $10 million to $25 million for buy-ins, depending on whether the teams got in on the first season or the second season. To be you know how much money they have to pay to be a Valorant team?
To buy a slot? No.
Yeah, they don't buy a slot; they get a stipend.
Oh yeah, right. Well,
Valorant-
you get a stipend in League too. Riot gives
Riot
stipends.
gives them money,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like yes, they control the branding in the game and all that stuff. But like,
but you have to earn your way into Valorant as well.
I mean, you still and so like there's a certain amount.
Does
of,
Valorant have promotion series into
They have third-party events that are licensed now, and so like there was a Red Bull homeground.
but like you can't promote into the main.
you can.
They're-
well
they're
then
gonna
it's not
have-
franchised
They have that.
because you can't promote into the LCS.
Well, then it's just a different model because they say it's
It
a
is a
franchise
different
thing.
model.
Yeah.
They're
It is.
calling it franchising, but
Yeah.
you can be kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then how is that a franchise? I haven't heard about this.
Well, you play League.
A Valorant.
Maybe franchise is the wrong word then, but
Yeah,
there
because,
are
like-
ways of getting promoted now into the major.
Into the Valorant, which means someone's got to get
Well, so
kicked
part,
out.
part of it is like
Right,
they didn't
okay,
buy
yeah,
the
yeah.
franchise spot. Like they're getting a stipend. You get to be one of the franchise teams. And like maybe it's not like they can all cycle out in a year, but like if tier
No.
2 teams like do really well, then
It
I
used
think
to be. It used to be that like the bottom two teams. So like I don't remember verbatim because I never really followed it that closely, except for Double Lift's run where you saved
Challengers it's
Team
called.
Liquid.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
how you get into the international league.
Okay, yeah. So there is no guaranteed placeholder then.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So
Which
it
is
used to
just
be that
like,
if you finished
soccer,
in the bottom,
right?
I
That's
believe if you
how
finished in the bottom three,
FIFA does it or whatever.
if you finished in like the bottom three in LCS for like 2 years in a row,
Okay.
you could be relegated.
Okay.
And you'd have to fight for your spot against and that was what's crazy because you could literally just be 5 dudes beating all your way up into a slot in the LCS.
Right, and that's what's exciting about what the
There was a Korean
Challengers
team
is.
that they just moved over here, team Impulse or Impact. It's one of the two. I forget.
I've heard of the Impact organization.
Yeah, or whatever. But they literally they're like, oh yeah, we'll just do that. So they just came over here and just kicked everyone's ass and relegated, and promoted into LCS.
That's awesome.
Wait, let's get the EGL team to do that.
Oh yeah, EGL will do that.
Yeah.
Tactics to win challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get Alex 55137 for our top laner, Zutter for our jungler.
Oh, we were talking Valorant, but League 2.
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's,
no, League 2.
We're
League
gonna
2.
take over Riot. Edge Gamers Lounge is coming for you.
Edge is gonna be a goddamn esports like home brand. Like people.
Well, unfortunately,
Midwest.
people don't really have any other choice because also play a violin. Shout out to
Shout-outs.
our brothers over at Tier 1. They just closed doors a couple days ago
Wait, really? Wait, where's that?
in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So like even so I knew the Sheboygan people
Yep.
closed, but this whoa.
Yeah. So Game On is gone.
Game On is gone.
And
Tier 1 just
Tier's one
closed. The
gone.
only other place that I know that's even in the state is Gravity.
Where's that?
That is also
Kenosha.
Kenosha. Okay,
Kenosha.
even closer to wow.
Yep.
Stevens Point does have like a game center, I think.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, but it's nothing.
Must be pretty small then.
Yeah,
I haven't even heard of them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be like the Midwest Mecca for esports.
Yeah.
Well, Wisconsin for sure.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, Minnesota has some. They have a couple larger
They do.
ones.
Well, and they have the Rockers, right?
So what is the Rockers? You said that
Rockers
before.
owned by V1.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're the Call of Duty
yeah.
brand.
Yeah,
But they also have V1 has a Rocket League brand, and
they're supported by crypto. So I don't.
Oh, so they're not supported.
I just don't think about them as being a long-term brand.
That is only because freaking.
I'm just saying.
Banner Media though.
I'm just saying. They're. I mean, where do you get funding for those companies out of the randomly?
Sure.
So
They're funded by crypto right now.
Well, they're
so
funded by angel investors.
who get all their money from where?
so
Who get all their money from where, Forrest?
Crypto.
Not all crypto.
Can I test the waters to see what the scope of our podcast is quick?
Sure.
So, esports teams, TSM, FTX.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So what about them?
I just wanted to throw that little.
Well, hang on. How about this?
right.
FTX Gold Graft. FTX.
Okay,
what's
we
that?
can't talk about this on the podcast because we'll get deep into it.
No, we won't.
What if the
won't?
people want it?
No,
People-
SBF's in custody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
No, I'm just saying, well, basically, the natural progression of this conversation is the reason why people can't why we can't buy $25 million team slots and make money on them is because crypto was a major, I would be willing to bet damn near 50% of every dollar that went into esports in the last 2.5 years
Was from a crypto.
was from a
exchange?
crypto exchange.
Wow, that's a statement.
I'm pretty sure FTX's deal with Riot was like $100 million
Was it?
over like 4
Yeah,
years.
I have no idea, but
Yeah.
that'd be insanity if that's true.
Yeah. Now, Riot is actually, they are typically, which surprised me with the FTX deal, they are typically super picky.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Well,
sure you
it's
know this too.
Tencent.
They are,
Because Tencent owns them.
that is not why they're super picky.
Oh, are you sure?
They actually have, I'm pretty sure Tencent can cut Riot loose. They would.
Really?
Tencent and Riot do not have a good relationship at all.
What about that?
No.
Why?
Riot is the most like free-willed out of every single Tencent company. Yeah.
Would they really get rid of KDA that easily?
No, I think Tencent is only keeping Riot because of the money, and you can type whatever you want in that chat filter. You can have your username be Tiananmen Square. You can say FCCP. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, there's no way Tencent is okay with that. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, they even gave one of Riot's oldest characters. He had a cigar forever, and Riot took it away. I'm pretty sure the timeline is Riot took it away before Tencent came on board.
Okay.
And they actually put it back in the game a couple years ago. Like just the little things like that, and people have reported too that like Riot and Tencent's relationship has always been strained.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's
Chinese company.
a Chinese company, but it's also Riot Games. Like whenever I think of China and their censorship, and I just think of like Blizzard, who is very progressive, or Riot, who is pretty progressive as well, just doesn't mix.
Yeah.
It just doesn't mix. The political and ideologies of the two companies are very different.
Right.
So yeah, but I think a lot of it is not because of Tencent. I think Riot is just, they like to be very picky with their sponsors. It needs to make sense. But when you dangle, 100 million, like tens of millions of dollars, it's hard to turn
Also,
it away.
FTX did present itself as the most responsible and good guy.
Yeah, really? I haven't seen a single crypto place not present themselves as free money.
FTX was not just free money, but it's like the responsible. Like FTX was the one who went to Capitol Hill and said we need more regulation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so does the Zuck. He wants more regulation too.
Is the Zuck a crypto exchange?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't transact.
Not on Facebook, no.
Wow, that is actually surprising.
On PayPal you can now, but
Oh, okay.
not on
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
Anyways,
Elon's all for
no,
it.
I just think there's way too much money in esports, and esports is going to go through the biggest bubble it's ever been through in 2023. So, like
I can't
Double Lift
disagree with that.
Double Lift had to take a massive pay cut to even play this year. He came back out of retirement because he wanted to play. He got the competitive urge, and I guarantee you, he said he took a massive pay cut because he's not looking for the money. But like Doublelift is also, he's talked about it many times. Like he wants to get what he's worth because like that's just, he wants, you want to make what you're worth. But he's like, yeah, I couldn't even make what I'm worth
right.
because no one can afford me because there's no money in the scene.
Right.
And you can't be paying these players $2 to $3 million for a year.
Yeah.
That's NFL money.
Right. And we don't have NFL.
We don't have
viewership.
NFL money.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And the viewership. The
sales
viewership is
yeah.
what leads to the revenue, right?
Yeah, of course. But
And,
it's,
yeah,
or
so
just
it's
like an overall strength, the roots of the scene, it's not anywhere near that level.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, esports will eventually surpass the NFL.
Oh, 100%. Agreed.
But it's
How
it's
soon
going to
and
be
when and
systems like what Riot has with Valorant right now that are going to make that possible.
Yep.
Because that is one of the biggest reasons I think probably international soccer or international football, you could say, is as big as it is because of the tiered league system that they have. Where technically, I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched the documentary with Ryan Reynolds and
and Will Ferrell?
no, not
Oh.
Will Ferrell. It's the guy from there's Sunny in Philadelphia or whatever. What's that guy's name?
Danny
And
DeVito?
Lori Met-
Not Danny DeVito. It's
Oh.
one of the other guys.
I don't know.
Not Charlie Day.
Anyways.
Anyway, they bought a soccer team
Oh.
in Wrexham, and they're trying to get them back into the Premier League or
I
whatever
see.
for soccer.
And that's the highest level of soccer in England?
And they no in the world.
the
international.
Premier League is the largest in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So Wrexham used to be like, I think it was like in tier 2 or tier 1 even maybe at once upon a time, where they have like a very history
But they've kind of fallen
soccer,
from grace.
and they have, and so like they're buying this team because of the history that they have to try to get them back into like into a higher tier, right? That's the story that like people are gonna rally behind,
Yeah.
right? And that's the type of story that will get people to rally behind teams in esports,
Yeah.
right?
It's just we don't
See,
have
and-
any time to have made a history yet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. One thing, like, I never talk about Dota ever because obviously league player.
Yeah.
But like one thing I like about Dota is like those players don't make a lot of money, but when they win the TI, they make bank.
What is the TI?
The international, because it's crowdfunded prize pool.
Oh,
And it's always the large. If you look up at any esports earners, it's always because you can track prize pool. It's harder to track salaries.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
keep that on the DL, but
right.
like,
well, and sponsorship
but
too. You
yeah,
can
but
hardly track.
but like the TI, like they'll win like $20 million. yeah. You know what you win for like winning worlds? Like 1.5 million for a whole team. Like, yeah, it's nothing.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's one thing I like about Dota is like there is a shit ton of money in the finals. Yeah.
Well, and that's
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing that like Valve does really cool.
Yeah.
Is that they're very hands off of their esports, but then when it comes to celebrating the best
Yeah, the TI
for their
is,
game,
Yeah,
they throw all the money.
yeah,
at
the
it.
TI is like where you want to be if you're someone who wants the reward of winning it all. Like
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. And Riot started doing like skin sales. Like you can, I believe they throw in like they'll do a championship skin of some sort. And if you buy that, like 25% of that skin goes to the prize pool, or something like that. Yeah. And also, I don't know if Dota does it, but like if you win Worlds, your team gets a skin, and you get a percentage, and that's where the real money comes in.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, skins.
Right.
Yeah.
They're free, right, for them to publish or to
Yeah.
essentially.
Like the amount of people I've seen
The
with
margin on skins
SKT,
is just crazy.
the amount of people I've seen with SKT skins would like fund. Yeah, it's just it must be the numbers must be coughable. Like what the?
I mean, it's how Riot's funding its franchise. League and its
Can you do a
expansion.
creator code on Riot on Valorant, like you can in Fortnite?
I seriously doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I seriously doubt
I don't
that.
remember seeing anything like that.
Last topic we should talk about.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about it before the show. Video games versus esports.
That's a great point.
Yeah, how do you want to break that concept down?
Well, I can talk a lot about it, but
I want to hear you guys first.
Well, I kind of want to hear your opinion on it and branch off.
Okay.
Is there a way that
Because
you can do like
video
the thesis
games-
statement,
Sure.
and then we do
Sure,
quick
sure, sure.
reacts, and then you break
Esport
it?
can
Yeah.
technically, I'm just going to put this out there right away, I guess.
Yeah.
Esport can technically be any video game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can find,
Can any video game be an esport though?
yes, because you can find a specific set of rules within any game that
Sure.
you could measure one performance versus another.
Okay. Wouldn't that just be a competition?
Yep. And that's what esports are.
Well,
Okay.
So
Because any competition you can make into a spectacle.
Sure.
I will. I'm gonna push back a little bit in the sense that like maybe I'd be willing to entertain that like in principle any competition could be a spectacle, but like I will not say that any competition can be made into a spectacle that is driven by like viewership and can be like a major
Yeah.
like
The
online
difference between
phenomenon.
you playing Tetris and your car driving down the road and a guy named King Nidhogg playing Tetris, some of the fastest in the world. One is an esport and the other is just a dude enjoying a video game.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But
But okay, so like I use Tetris
Yeah.
like one game, right? But like you playing Cookout with your wife, you know, while the kids are in bed and having a good time, and like two other people like, dude, we want to make the Cookout World Championship. It's like, okay, you could compete in that. Am I going to classify it as an esport?
no, probably not.
well, so
Exactly.
But it could be made into an esport is what I'm saying.
You could definitely try.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'd like to get an idea of like the amount of work that would have to be put in to make something like a single player game that where the excitement is a speedrunning community on YouTube.
Oh, sure.
Versus
Yeah,
Or like a
speedrunning is
score.
legit. for
speedrunning's
sure.
legit, but
Score.
is it
Is
in
it an
a-
esport?
It's is it an esport? Like you
I
can-
wouldn't call
you
it
can
one.
say it's a competitive sort of video game, or maybe I'll even like bite the bullet and say, yeah, sure, it's an esport. But
Are
then
you
is it
saying
a
that
competitive?
golf isn't a sport then?
Golf is the hardest sport in the world.
Okay, then speedrunning would definitely be a sport then.
I would not classify it in the realm that we're in now. I would not classify it as one.
Golf is the hardest.
The Wisconsin Esports Association
Okay.
would not give speedrunning an esports classification.
Really?
No.
Okay, so
Golf is
sorry.
the
However, I do think speedrunning is incredible. Like it is an incredible competition.
Yep.
Right. But like I think in the emerging field of everything, like I want to be way more what's the opposite of inclusive?
Exclusive.
Exclusive. Oh, I'm a dumbass. I'd want to be more exclusive than inclusive, because when I'm trying to explain to someone who isn't in an esport
yeah.
what it is, what does it look like, it's easier that way.
Yeah.
So speedrunning, I would consider speedrunning just like a basic competition that is done on a video game. An esport,
Which is an esport.
yes, but an esport would be something that has, I've actually defined kind of a few things.
Okay.
First, an esport must have, and I know speedrunning, they post their times, but esports have a defined ranking system,
Yeah.
which does not exist in speedrunners. You don't have like diamond level speedrunners, right? You just have, this is the fastest score. This is first place, right? That's why you can call that
You could
Competition.
develop one though for speedrunning. The same way that you
right.
would
You
develop
could,
a ranking system for
but
golfers.
there isn't one, right?
Well,
there just isn't one.
here's-
That's not a thing.
Is that
And I'm
essential
not
to
saying
esports?
that
but like
it is
golfing
right now.
golfing has leagues.
Right. And you could-
Speedrunning does not have
But
leagues.
you could create leagues as well.
Yeah, but like there isn't one is my point. It would have naturally developed over the last 40 years, and it hasn't, right? That's why
So
like
we're talking about
that's why I'm saying like
almost
setting high
natural.
scores. Setting high scores to me is not an esport. It is competition. but I wouldn't classify it as an esport.
So
because there's not enough viewership.
I don't even consider viewership.
I want to focus
part
on
of
like
equation.
the spectacle nature of esports.
That's
so
what. That's like your argument for it.
Yeah. So like I won't. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to like fix rigidly hard like necessary and sufficient conditions for an esport. But like let's think of it as a cluster concept where there are lots of things that are like esports, and maybe there are some.
I mean,
that
I definitely
everybody
think an eye test.
Yeah.
Things need to pass like a service level eye test, right? Like Donkey Kong high score, esport or not. You know what I mean?
So
Like that. I'm asking you, like.
I would say yeah.
You would say yeah. Yeah. I would say no.
I would say even if I personally thought it were an esport, I would not put it at an esports convention in a booth unless there were like an offshoot room where it's like fringes of esports.
Well, so I
exhibition.
think I'm just esports is mainstream now, right?
I wouldn't call it fully there yet.
Really?
No.
Oh,
I think we're
disagree
about
with that.
70%.
I would say it was almost mainstream
have-
when Overwatch League hit ABC.
When Ninja went on Jimmy Fallon, esports was
A Twitch streamer? You're conflating a Twitch streamer?
who is a competitive gamer.
He's a Twitch streamer first.
He is. Well, no, not necessarily. No, he was a competitor.
He's a
first.
brand. He's a brand. No. When
He was a competitor.
How did he get big? Through
streaming, yes.
Through streaming.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And that is
And he
but
got big
he's-
because of brand
But
outreach.
he's done tournaments,
Yeah,
right?
but, like-
he's competed at a professional level.
Yeah,
in competition.
But my point is like Faker didn't get big because he was a streamer. Faker got big because he whooped everyone's ass at League of Legends. There's a difference.
There
There's
is
a difference. Yeah.
But at the same
I'm not saying that. By the way, that Ninja isn't good at Fortnite. He's very good at the game. But like,
Well,
there's
and
a
it
difference
is-
between a Twitch streamer who's in the 1% of Twitch streamers and professional players like Shroud. Shroud's a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like very blurry. Is this guy? I mean, yes, he's a Twitch streamer, but he's also a professional. Like he legitimately plays in professional.
Well, and he
Although
was
if you-
just in the league like a year ago.
Although
Right.
if you had seen him play for Sentinels Valor, you might wonder.
yeah,
if he's still
yeah. Unfortunate.
Hey, he had some good plays, but
But yeah,
besides the fact,
I have some good plays.
that's
I'm
the
saying,
thing too.
okay.
Is like, anyways,
me
I
to-
want to. Sorry, but I
okay,
want to
okay.
get back to esports thing, right?
Yeah, and
first
that's
is
what
a
I'm
ranked
trying to
ladder.
finish, though.
It's
is because the speed running is what I would consider a non-mainstream esport. It's not an esport that you would showcase to get sponsorship or give the general public, the mainstream public, an idea of what esport is.
Sure.
But that's not to say that it's not an esport.
Is playing Elden Ring an esport?
Not right now in it, but it could be.
But only if it's speedrun? Is it now it's an esport? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. If it was
Oh, okay, yeah. That's way too inclusive for I think.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
all
you're.
video games could be an esport, is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I think
I'm
you're
not
getting
saying
in
that
a very messy
all video
area.
games at this time are esports. I'm saying that any.
I think
game
using your own
has-
logic, you could pretty much say that all video games at any time are.
No, all
No,
could be.
not-
I
Could
think-
be.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah,
Given,
but if
like,
they have the
the
ability
proper
to
care
be,
and
they
stuff,
are. Like I
And
just.
then, well, I
No.
would say then that like if any video game could be an esport, that would not mean that any video game falls into the category of the esports we would care enough about to talk about
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
setting.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
I would say naturally that well, so like how often does ESPN talk about archery? If there were a really cool
Sure,
happening in
that's a
archery,
very good point,
Or if
yeah.
there were a situation where there were like a major conflict or controversy at a big big archery event, then it would get coverage. And no one on ESPN that I could imagine would ever say, if pressed, that archery isn't a sport when it's included in the Olympics, right? But
Right.
it's not the kind of sport that gets coverage in a viewer-dominated world. Or biathlon.
It was an activity that was meant to feed your family, and now it is included in a sport.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
hunting sport. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Well,
Same
yeah,
thing with like bicycle or riding a bicycle.
Riding a bike,
That's
yeah.
not a sport until you start taking it off ramps because you're doing something specific with it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Any video game, if you do something specific with it that revolves around skill
If you're,
and competition,
essentially you're gamifying a game.
Yeah.
Was it true that like some of the earliest Aboriginal cultures used like golf clubs to hit arrowheads in such a way to feed their family?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I've never researched that.
I was just wondering. Yeah, because it's the hardest sport in the world, and I'm just thinking about
Golf is the hardest sport in the world.
I
can't disagree, but I can't agree because I just don't know.
I
don't
just
play
can't-
golf enough
I have the same kind of.
I just can't think of anything that is harder.
to hit a small little tiny
It's
ball.
not even just
in the
that.
right way. And
The game of golf. I cannot think of anything harder in my life. Any like okay, nothing.
Any
We're not going to
human
count like
endeavor?
the what's the volleyball where you can't use your hands, you got to kick with your feet.
Oh, I know what
Like
you're talking
like
about,
the stuff like that is so extreme and out there. That's again like it is competition, but like are we going to call that? We're going to recognize that on the same level of the sport as golf? I guess I am being a little foobar with it because I'm saying one thing that is technically a competition.
Yeah.
They're all competitions, but like
they're sports.
I don't want to classify them anywhere near the same pedigree of soccer
Well,
basketball.
Could we agree then that
You know?
there are different tiers of sports and that
Yeah.
all
And I
things
like
could
to
be
label them. I like to label them.
inclusive as a
Everything
sport?
is a competition, but not everything is a sport.
So,
but everything could be a sport.
do y'all?
I guess I suppose like if everyone just played volleyball with their feet,
Right.
Then-
it'd be a sport.
then it'd be a
Because there'd be a
sport.
professional level
I
of
hate
it.
it. I hate that.
At the risk of
I just hate that.
At the risk of making a really bad analogy, so like, have you ever been to the philosophy section in Barnes and Noble and seen the series of
I haven't.
blank and philosophy? So they're like Final Fantasy and philosophy books, or like Harry
Oh,
Potter
sure,
and
sure,
philosophy.
sure.
So like, there is a way in which you could say that
Fiction
there
and
can be a
philosophy.
philosophy of anything. Right?
Yeah.
But that does not mean that there's ever going to be like a YouTube course or an open access college lecture on the philosophy of Breaking Bad. I mean, maybe somebody somewhere gets the opportunity to just like have fun and like they get the administration to say like, oh, whatever, you have tenure, you can like fuck around with a Breaking Bad and philosophy course. But like, so anything could be, with the right amount of care and the right selection of authors, made into an X and philosophy book. But that doesn't mean that in common parlance, or like the realm of
Eye test.
thinking, or most people's eye tests, that it's going to make it into the context where people talk about.
Right.
Not that I'm saying people talk about philosophy and like, would we even listen to those people? Like, I don't. They're lame.
I would.
It's like if a parent comes in here and tells me, it's like, yeah, my kid plays video games all the time. He's really good at video games.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have a future. I'm like, oh, what does he play? Mario Odyssey, and God of War. He's been really onto that recently. And then Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah, playing a lot of that. Yeah, and Minecraft, playing a lot of
maybe
Minecraft.
what
Hey, Minecraft has
It's like okay.
I guess I would be interested to see the ways in which the industry would have to develop such that speedrunning could have spectator events that draw crowds, even if they're all streaming crowds, in ways that are comparable to like a Valorant event. I'm not saying it can't happen. I would just be interesting in I think it would be very difficult to do.
Can we, and also just to interrupt you real quick, can we even name a solo esport event that draws crowds?
Like where you're not competing. or playing on
StarCraft,
a
I think, was the only thing.
That's 1v1 though, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Solo, non-team.
fighting games, right?
Yeah, Street Fighter.
Yeah, I guess that they do draw crowds, but not to like
Evo.
Yeah, but does Evo draw like 400,000 people watching on Twitch?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that
don't know.
FGC is not an esport, by the way. I'm not even going there.
Sure.
But I'm just like, it seems we are definitely going the way of team-based
Come back
games.
in here and beat someone.
Valorant, Overwatch, League of Legends, stuff like that. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I wanted to get back to
Team-based sports are definitely bigger than solo sports.
and I wanted to
Always.
Yeah, there's just more faces to like, you know.
There
It's like,
is, and
yeah.
there's a bigger network that's involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, a ranked. I wanted to pull way back to what I was saying. Some of my things I use to classify. A ranked structure supported by the dev is probably like the number one thing I look at. And to me, if like there were 10 things needed to check off to classify something as an esport, it holds like 3 votes.
Yeah.
Right. Notably, Smash does not have this.
Right. Well, kind of. It's
The
it's a
community
soft
built
rank.
it. The community
The
built it.
it has a global ranking system.
Oh, for the online play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. But
The
that's
GSP, I
not.
think
Yeah,
it's
it's not used. Like no one even uses it.
Not for competition. No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's effectively dead.
I mean, do
Like the-
Valorant competitions use the fact that some people reached Immortal in one season as like any feature?
We do
of
at a
what's
local level.
You
yeah, the
you
local
do
level.
to climb to be recognized. You have to climb on the ladder to make it on a pro team.
Well, and I tell you,
open
right,
tryouts.
like
in
I'll tell
principle,
you,
like
the place where
now-
you're able to. Sorry, yeah.
You're telling me a
There
silver
are
player could walk into
platforms.
open tryouts?
No, I'm saying that I think it's interesting that we're making a feature about how online play in video games happen to be arranged right now, and like bootstrapping it up into this is what esports are. Esports are things where the video game of which it is
I'm
an
saying-
esport has
yeah.
a ranking system.
I'm saying that. Like,
Yeah.
I think a ranking system done by the developer is instrumental. It's probably, like I said, like 3 out of 10, 30% of what makes something an esport, in my opinion. I think that cannot be downplayed how significant that creates a strong competitive scene. Because I have seen from, especially when I've created our own internal ranking system that we use here for all of our games, BCP, like if we didn't have something like that to like balance players and skill levels, it'd make what we do impossible.
right.
Literally, like we
Well,
wouldn't
it
even
collapse
have.
just because of how lopsided it would be.
Right, exactly. The next thing I would say, and I actually wrote like all these things down, and they are kind of escaping me right now, unfortunately.
That's cool. That's episode 2.
Right.
Sure.
3?
But I think the next big thing
Is this
was
2 or 1?
This is one.
this is 1.
Okay.
This is episode
The other one
1.
was 0.
Yeah, episode 0. Yeah.
All right, lit.
The next big
Remember when I
thing.
took my shirt off on that episode?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, the
Great
next big
nipples, by the
thing
way.
is, unfortunately, and I don't like this too, but the next big thing is money being made by being a professional in that.
Right. And well,
Which, and
that's-
I don't like that much, but I have a hard time getting away from it because
you have to have professional level
you have to, right.
for it to be considered
Yeah,
esports.
professional means it is your profession.
Right.
It is how you make money.
Survive. It is
right.
how you survive, yeah.
And speedrunners, they don't make money. They get some donations
streamers.
on Twitch.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They make a living doing it though.
I don't know one speedrunner that makes a living. They don't win any. Unless there's a charity event
Sure.
or something like that. They don't have like a prize pool. You know, Moist Critical probably made someone like the first person that actually made real money off of speedrunning because he offered someone a $20,000 bounty on all skulls for Halo 2.
Right.
You remember that? That happened like 6 months ago or whatever.
Yep.
And that was a big deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
like someone made money off of speedrunning. Like, I'm pretty sure, unless I am so wrong, but I've watched enough Carl Jobs videos to have heard if there was substantial money in the speedrunning community, and I'm pretty sure there isn't.
No.
All these guys just do it for the hell of it,
Right.
you know, and it's super cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's really awesome. But Carl Jobs makes more money than probably the top 20 speedrunners combined because he just makes YouTube videos on their content, which is fucking genius.
Right. It is.
So yeah. Oh, the third one. Yeah, the third one. Just because you play a lot of a game, or you know, like, say like. Oh wait, I actually just lost that point. Those are the two big points. I think you have to make a substantial revenue.
Were you gonna say that there needs to be value about the amount of time that you spend with it?
No,
Because
because
that kind of just goes into the professional.
No, yeah, it also goes into like the rank system. Like if you put, like I have a lot of hours in League of Legends.
Sure.
I tell people over 7,000. I'm probably approaching like mid 8,000 hours now, right? I am not very good at the game relative, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still in the top 5-6%. I actually peaked in the top 1.5% this year. Of the player base of NA, right?
Yeah.
So like all that time has put me into a point where if I walk into a room, you know, if you were to, you know, walk into a room of 1,000 players,
Yep.
you know,
You're going to be better than 100 of them.
Now, if I walked into a room of 1,000 competitive players, I'm not going to be in the 1% of a competitive room, because I am still one on the lower end side of my audience, you know, of my customer base. And that's a lot of thing. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand is there are a lot of players of an esport, but they're not looking to be that competitive in it, right?
They're not trying to be a professional.
Or they're just not even trying to be good. I mean,
they're playing for the golden
There's a
Doves.
reason that all modern esports titles have like that bell curve, right?
Yeah.
Where they want good bad players to feel like they're good. So like in League of Legends, that diamond level, once you hit that, it's really hard for you to get better, and it's semi-arbitrary, and it's gotten worse over the years. In Valorant, remember when I was balancing our point system for Valorant, and I was like, they're missing slots because this is BS. They're making people feel better than they really are at the game by giving them, oh, I'm the third highest rank in the game. Well, yeah, but you're still shit compared to the highest rank. Radiant, before these immortal ranks, was infinitely better. Everyone might as well have been unranked in Valorant. Like, it was, if you understand the BCP system, they were 20 points ahead of the next highest rank.
You're okay.
Yeah, so it went Ascended 1, 2, 3, Radiant.
Right.
Yeah, the difference between Radiant and Ascended 3 might as well have been the difference between Ascended 3 and Unranked.
It's just, Ascendant and Immortal are swapped, but like.
Oh, sure. You get my.
yeah,
I think people are following me.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. Stuff like that is like designed so everyone feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That.
Yeah, because like the average player in Valorant, I think, is gold or silver. High
Yeah.
silver.
To a Radiant player, you know what I'm saying? Like the old ranking system, maybe you could pull out like Ascended 3 or Ascended 2. Maybe you'd be like, okay, I can kind of tell the difference. Everyone else would feel exactly the same. And that's how it is. I have challenger players in my circuit. They can not tell the difference between me and like, you know, basically even all the way down to someone who's unranked.
Correct.
Maybe they're unranked, but they played like 1,000 hours, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, oh, I might notice a couple things that he did wrong, but like I'm still doing 1,000 things wrong too.
Right.
Because I'm not at that level.
Yeah.
And stuff like that is like, so I think an esport needs to have that like
skill gap.
yeah. And see, that's the thing with like the NBA and stuff like that. In like traditional sports, there's so much gatekeeping that goes on with like you trying to become a professional player.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple guys that have come in here over the years that are trying out for the Packers, you know, and they're explaining to me the process just to even get in the training grounds.
Right.
And I'm like, holy crap. And I tell them, I'm like, yeah, you just need a computer and an internet connection and skill. I'm like, dude, I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to even try to get a practice, like to get a tryout. I'm like, yeah, dude, they contact you in esports. You don't even reach out to them.
At the
You
same
just climb a
time,
leaderboard
though,
and you can just play with pros.
There is not there's not a lot of avenues to get recognized in esports, though, to get approached.
Really?
Absolutely.
How? What? You climb a leaderboard. That's it.
So
If you're rank 1 in your game, you don't think you're going to get DMs from players and coaches?
not necessarily, no.
I think
No,
can
you
solicit
do.
them.
You do.
do?
Yes. You don't even have to solicit. No. Our challenger players, no, they get DMs all the time.
From actual organizations?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and colleges are like always like, yeah, college scouts. Yeah, they're always trying to friend you, find out your, you know, oh, yeah. 100%. You're worth money.
See, I've never heard any of that. I've heard the
Really?
opposite, where it's just like, oh, yeah, I've been,
Bro,
talking
if
like
you're
that.
rank 1 in Overwatch, if you're rank 1,
Well, I mean, rank 1 is a little different than being like rank like 50 or
rank 50, that's crazy.
You might be able to solicit an invite if you don't get called if you're ranked 50. But like,
I
be able
mean,
to
you're
be.
gonna get a message like, "Hey, man, you're pretty good. Do you have any aspirations or anything like that?" You're playing with professionals. You know what I'm saying? There's
yeah,
at
I
least
suppose,
200
yeah.
professionals in the
Yeah,
top.
that's true.
In the top 500, if you're rank 50,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Esports is amazing that way. Or you could be, you could be from your neighborhood and be as good as LeBron.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
You have to get noticed by the right people. You have to have the money to get in, to go to the training camps, to get recognized. You got to get through the gatekeepers and all that type of stuff. You could have real skill, and it's not going to matter.
Crazy.
In esports, there's none of that block. Your block is actually outside factors, not internal factors.
I'm trying to think about like why that is, right?
In traditional or esports?
Well, like why the gap exists in this way. And I'm just thinking like if every single traditional sport had just
I can tell you why, and it's also the biggest problem with esports.
hit me.
If you go to the YMCA and just take the basketball and walk off the court because you didn't want to play the game anymore, you're going to get your ass kicked. If you do that online, there are no repercussions. So LeBron James cannot trust you to play basketball with him and not mess around with him so you can practice against him and get better, right? There's no safety area. Whereas with esports, the defining factor is matchmaking systems that filter all that out. So in one sense, you have real people with real consequences, right? So they have to have all this gatekeeping. Is this guy for real? Like, why am I even wasting this time with this guy even playing with me, right? With esports, it's all matchmaking through AI and computers and all that type of stuff. Yeah. I think that is like the true reason why there is such a large gatekeeping. Did that answer your question, or is that like totally not what you're meaning?
Well, I feel like I don't know if I consider all of the info that goes into matchmaking and all of the records that are available. Like I don't see how the repercussions bit and we have this really elaborate system of keeping track how everybody does in all of these interactions to rank how well they are against other people. I don't see how
they're correlating.
Like maybe they correlate, but I was just thinking, okay, if we had in like a system, an AI system, do you know like VLR.gg? Like it's a
that's the site the site that we use to verify everyone? Tracker. We use Tracker.
Tracker. Like
but
VLR
does the
VLR like a Valorant game will go up, and the second the game's over, like all of that info will have been populated in the VLR.
Oh, okay,
fields.
sure.
I'm just like whatever that is, and I'm not smart enough to know if there are people who are employed and are keeping track, or if they just like made.
It's just API.
Yeah,
it's just API.
Yeah. Okay. So like, if there were just API systems,
it's automated.
If there were automated systems that just kept track of every physical game, every meat sport interaction that there were, and all of that info were just available by scouts, and there could be something like a leaderboard because all of that.
Oh, for like the traditional type of stuff?
Traditional sports. Like, I'm wondering if esports is in the position it is where you can get easily discovered just because...
Because of stat tracking and a leaderboard. Yeah. Which makes it an esport, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay.
That's fair.
I'm saying that's the advantage of what makes something an esport is because that data and that ranking system is there. Yeah. The problem with traditional... Okay, there's a lot of real issues with traditional sports. Mm-hmm. But one of them is let's say like my stats show that I'm better than LeBron, right? That doesn't mean I get to just walk into the NBA.
Right.
Because there's a lot more nuance to the system than that. It's like an institutional system, right? Or like I may be able to post like a TikTok video of me bullseyeing 20 different cones set up all over my yard with a football. I'm not who cares, right? Like, I'm not going to get an invite because I can do that. Yeah. But if I can show that I peak challenger, like top 100 challenger in League of Legends 3 seasons in a row, then that actually means something to that. But like stats alone don't mean anything, I feel like, traditional sports to get someone in.
Yeah. Do you think something of that is just like because...
I think it's who you know. It seems like it's a lot of who you know.
But I'm just thinking like because of how many people, like the player base of meat sports where people are actively trying to make it into the professional leagues. Like that just seems to be much larger than
esports.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I just think of how many times I hear someone say, "My coach believed me and he pushed for me to get in." You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
He
that also
obviously
has
you
to
had
do,
merit
though.
to like get your coach's attention,
Right.
but it was also my coach is the one who pushed me to get in because he had the ability to get me in, not some system. The system
But
was
the thing is
coach.
that's part of the system.
Yeah, but I'm saying that system does not produce. I bet you it does not produce very good. Like we think Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, we think these are the best quarterbacks to ever play the game.
oh, not these days, Aaron Rodgers.
No, you to ever play the game. You get my point?
Yeah.
I know that Faker is the best League of Legends player of all time.
Right.
We do not know who the best.
And that is
Do
strictly
you see what I'm
because-
saying?
yeah.
Because they were not
His
given.
results have been quantified since the beginning of time.
Well,
since
not
he
even just
played.
quantified. The barrier. There was no barrier.
Yeah, too.
There could have been 5 or 6 people that were better than these other quarterbacks that were literally but there were
But
barriers
they weren't able to get into
from the
colleges.
system. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
How much of that do you think is just like size and development? Because like
No, I think I
in 40
seriously
years,
think
in 40 years, when fewer people are in meat sports, more people are in esports, and there are like naturally high school and college systems where there are tons of players who are like getting in at the low level and constantly trying. Like, how often do you think? Well, I can imagine like
just
your high school
China.
esports
Hey, China is
coach-
just a perfect example. There is so many more players in China than America, and America's population will never reach anything near China. So it's already happened over in China, and they don't do traditional sports nearly as hard
No.
as Americans do, from my understanding.
No.
So I mean, I think you can look at it right there, man. Yeah, I
mean,
truly
we're gonna
think.
have to talk off the pod to like make
Yeah,
me
for
to
sure.
understand what you're like comparing there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but also my point can't be as clear as possible here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm the host, and my guests are always
Well,
right. Just kidding. They're not
and,
guests. They're equal. They're equal.
let us know in the comments, after you watch this.
Oh, yeah,
if you
yeah.
made it this far, congratulations.
Well, I'll be putting like points of interest so people can.
yes,
skip
excellent,
around,
excellent.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Like, comment,
Anyways,
subscribe.
yeah.
Do
Esports.
all those things.
I think esports is really cool. I wish it was growing slower, not faster, though.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, we'll save
Because
that
of
for
these
episode
bubbles.
2.
Because of these bubbles. These bubbles are giving it a stain.
Let's save that for episode 2 because I want to talk about
We
that.
should do a thing where we end on like a hot take. Like
Yeah.
Either Vindy's hot take or.
All right, the NBA is rigged and could be easily
No, we
fixed.
already had your hot take.
Oh, oh.
You know
the
what?
slow growth thing.
Going into that, though, I found out from Facebook and UberFacts that the NFL is actually classified as an entertainment business, and therefore they can legally fix games.
Really?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really?
They'd want to protect themselves from that. Yeah.
Strange.
Yep. But I'm telling you, all you would need.
Sus.
There'd be so many different things that'd be different if we had chips in players' feet. Apparently, we have chips in soccer balls now.
Cool.
Yeah. Apparently, we do have chips inside soccer balls. But I'm telling you right now, all this BS on like, oh, was his foot there? Oh, we're gonna go look at the replay
Just wait
cameras.
for AR gaming.
AR
AR esports.
No.
It's coming.
Nope. But yeah, all we had to do is have these fields lined with sensors, and we never even have to second guess a ref's question ever again.
That's why AR esports is superior
No.
to
All right.
traditional.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Spinozone, Vindy, Wolf Clock. We look forward to seeing you again.
Peace.